The Royal Rumble is arguably the greatest stipulation match in all of wrestling. It has something for everyone: intense in-ring action, big surprises, nail-biting drama, counting down from 10. It's a great big wrestling variety pack, and we are all here for it. The Rumble has also been a great vehicle for comedy. Often when WWE try and be funny, it usually ends up with the same results as adding nitroglycerin to a birthday cake, but for some reason this match seems to be the exception. Over its several decades of existence, the Rumble has provided fans with plenty of laugh-out-loud moments, sometimes intentionally, sometimes not. Looking at you, Vince, honorable mention. I'm Adam Pacitti from Cultaholic Wrestling, and these are the 10 funniest Royal Rumble moments. Join us. Number 10, not fair to Flair. The 1992 Royal Rumble match is considered by many to be the best the format has ever seen, which is saying something considering it has Skinner in it. 30 men all fought not for the chance to main event WrestleMania, but to win the vacant WWE title. After Hulk Hogan threw a massive tantrum about being eliminated fairly, Ric Flair swooped in to win the match and the coveted Winged Eagle belt. The Nature Boy entered the match at number 3, which caused all sorts of anxiety for his financial advisor, Bobby Heenan. The Brain was on commentary during this match and almost had a fit when his charge entered the fray so early. Heenan's whole performance behind the announce desk here is legendary, as he perfectly portrays his fear of Flair losing whilst managing to keep in all of his classic one-liners. His highlights include bickering with Gorilla Monsoon, claiming he would low blow his own grandmother to win the match, and finally calling Roddy Piper's outfit a kilt when he helps Flair, only to call it a skirt minutes later when Piper attacks him. A masterclass in heel commentary. There will never be another like the Brain. Number 9, Mil Mascaras forgets the rules. The 1997 Rumble match included 4 entrants from Mexican promotion AAA, with whom WWE had a working partnership with at the time. They were Pierroth, Latin Lover, Cibernetico, and the legendary Mil Mascaras. The man in the silver mask dumped Pierroth out of the ring to score his second elimination of the match. Then, in a baffling turn of events, he scaled the ropes and leapt onto his fellow countryman on the outside. It's an impressive spot, until you remember that this is the Royal Rumble. This moment of madness, of course, meant that he had eliminated himself from the match for no good reason. He then tried to get back in the ring, only for the referees on the outside to tell him to piss off. Oh, so it's alright when Randy Savage does it, eh? This unbelievable gaffe is made even funnier by commentators Vince McMahon and Jim Ross trying and failing to cover it up. In actuality, the notoriously protective Mil made the decision himself because he felt being chucked out like everyone else would make him look like a loser. It's a shame that this is the only thing a lot of wrestling fans know about one of the greatest luchadors of all time. A shame, but still hilarious. Number 8, excuse me. Vickie Guerrero is an incredibly polarizing figure. To some people, she was the ever-reliable heat magnet that helped steer Raw and SmackDown through some of its darkest days in the early 2010s. To others, she's a banshee on steroids with one of the worst voices in the history of the human race. Those people are marks. Anyway, that voice rang out around the Wells Fargo Center when Vickie entered the first ever Women's Royal Rumble match at number 16. Her shrill yells of "excuse me" pierced the eardrums of anyone within a 5-mile radius as she stormed down to the ring. After deafening everyone, Vickie stopped to assess the situation she found herself in. That situation was not good. The 4 women in the ring all ganged up on wrestling's greatest cougar, chucking her out of the ring to the sheer delight of the crowd. Vickie's appearance in the Rumble was spot on. It was short, sweet, and conveyed everything that made her character so irritatingly great. For putting up with a lot of rubbish during her many years with WWE, it was nice to see Vickie get one last chance to make us all laugh. Number 7, Drew Carey. The 2001 Royal Rumble is one of the few others that most often gets brought up alongside 92 as being one of the best ever. One of the more unique portions of the match involves comedian and actor Drew Carey. He entered the contest in the number 5 spot. Mr. McMahon had put Drew in the Rumble earlier that night as punishment for him flirting with Trish Stratus. If anyone's gonna prey on a diva, it's Vince himself, damn it. Drew got in the ring right as Matt and Jeff Hardy took each other out of the Rumble. This left the starter bask in the limelight until Kane showed up. The Big Red Machine stalked the outside of the ring like a shark circling a seal. Drew begged the referees for help and even tried to call the Hardy Boys back, but to no avail. Once Kane gets in the ring, Drew goes to shake his hand and even offers him some money. He escaped certain doom when Raven entered next, allowing our man to hop over the top rope and out of the match. Bad Bunny can keep his Canadian destroyers because this was Celebrity Wrestling Royal Rumble bliss. Number 6. Bushwhacked. The Bushwhackers have a Dave Meltzer 5-star match in their repertoires. Kurt Angle does not. There is no God. The New Zealand duo, famous for head-licking and battering ramming, both made separate appearances in the 1991 Rumble match. Bushwhacker Butch lasted 10 minutes from the number 8 spot, whilst his partner in crime lasted far less time but achieved far more fame. Bushwhacker Luke cut his trademark march down to the ring. He then marched in between the ropes and, guided by Earthquake, marched all the way across the ring and out the other side. To top it off, he even kept marching after his elimination. Luke lasted just 4 seconds in the match, but put each one to great use. He pulled this spot off to perfection, never once breaking character as he was unceremoniously dumped over the top rope and sent for an early shower. One of the earliest comedy spots in the Rumble, this moment shows that WWE were now willing to take more risks with the format and offer up a bit more diversity across the hour-long matches. Number 5. Lawler royally fails. Jerry Lawler has had 2 Rumble performances that could qualify for this spot. In 1996, the King spent the majority of his 36 minutes in the Rumble hiding under the ring after being frightened by Jake Roberts' massive snake. No, that is not a euphemism. 1 year later, he would spend significantly less time in the match. Lawler was a surprise entrant from the commentary table, shocking his partner Vince McMahon as he put down his headset and joined the fray. He attempted to sneak up on Bret Hart, but the Hitman clobbered Jerry with a punch and then hit him again to send him sailing backwards over the top rope. In all, Lawler spent just 4 seconds in the match, but my god were they great. Everything from his cocky swagger to his selling of the punches to the incredible whoa noise he makes whilst flying out of the ring is golden. The fact that he can't even remember he was in the match once he gets back on commentary is the icing on the cake. In the words of the man himself, you can't have a Royal Rumble without a king. Number 4. GILLBERG'S time to shine. Impressions can make or break a wrestling career. Pretending to be The Miz gave Damien Sandow a new lease of life in WWE, but cosplaying as Randy Savage put the final nail in his coffin. One man for whom a good mimicking really paid off was Dwayne Gill, aka GILLBERG. A parody of a top WCW star, you'll never guess which one, GILLBERG was a hapless jobber who embarrassed himself every single time he set foot in the ring. The 1999 Royal Rumble match was no different. GILLBERG entered at number 6, posing and gurning his way down to the ring. He then got inside, posed on the second rope, and was immediately tipped out of the ring by an exasperated-looking Edge. The way Edge treated GILLBERG with such utter disdain is beautiful. He put 0 effort into eliminating him, but Dwayne still sold like he'd been shoved full force off the Empire State Building. Always willing to play the fool if the storyline called for it, GILLBERG was an absolute trooper, and this might just be his greatest ever moment. Who needs an undefeated streak? Number 3. The Hurricane screws up. One of the best things to come out of the godforsaken invasion storyline was Shane Helms transforming into the Hurricane. A send-up of superheroes, the Hurricane wore his best Green Lantern threads, sported a rather dashing cape mask combo, and even had a special vehicle called the Hurricycle. He also kidnapped and brainwashed Molly Holly that one time, but we don't talk about that. The 2002 Royal Rumble featured a great moment where former 2-man Power Trip members Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H came face to face for the first time in months. The two legends battered each other, both dropping to the mat after a double clothesline. Then came the next entrant, the Caped Crusader himself. Hurricane sized the 2 much larger men up and went for a chokeslam on both of them at the same time. With superb comic timing, Austin and Triple H looked at each other before promptly sending the superhero back to his lair. Not only did this moment perfectly snap the tension in the ring, but it also gave us a moment far superior to any MCU movie. Come at me, nerds. Number 2, Santino wasn't ready. For 20 long years, the Warlord held the record for the shortest time spent in a single Royal Rumble match. His 2-second stint in the 1989 match seemed unbeatable. Surely nobody could screw up as badly as this. Then along came Santino. At the 2009 event, Santino Marella drew number 28, which has yielded the joint highest number of winners of any spot in the match. Santino was not one of them. He barreled his way down to the ring and slid under the bottom rope, only for Kane to immediately clothesline him out, and I mean immediately. The Milan Miracle lasted one single solitary second in the Rumble, breaking the Warlord's record and earning himself a place in the history books. His screams of "I wasn't ready" after the elimination just make this moment even better. A failure on this scale was perfect for the bumbling character of Santino, and he pulled off what was actually a very tricky spot without a hitch. It's highly unlikely that anyone will ever break Santino's record, but there's no one we would rather see go down in Rumble history than our favorite fake Italian. With all due respect to Johnny Stamboli, of course. Number 1, Titus World Slide. Whilst we would all love to forget the armpit stain that was the greatest Royal Rumble from 2018, this one moment will ensure that it lives on in our minds for eternity. The main event of the first ever major WWE show to take place in Saudi Arabia was a 50-man Rumble match for a disgusting looking green belt. Entrant number 39, which feels like a really odd thing to say, was Titus O'Neil, and you all know what happened next. Unfortunately, he tripped on some air and went tumbling to the ground, landing perfectly under the ring with his legs sticking out like some sort of Looney Tunes cartoon. It was fantastic, pure slapstick at its finest, but with this moment comes a whole heap of conspiracy theories. Titus had done stuff like this before, most notably when he fell over nothing during a barrel carrying challenge on NXT, but this was different. The way he fell, the position he landed under the ring, the perfectness of the Titus World Slide pun, it all just seemed too good to be true. Not everything's a work. I love you, Titus.